How you doing, guys? This is Eric from Rule the Wasteland. This video is going to be a follow-up to a video that I just recently did about the 4 things it's okay for preppers to be cheap about. Things that it's okay to buy on the lower end of the price spectrum because you can find things that have a uncommon quality and effectiveness to price kind of relationship. There are other objects, however, or items for preparedness, outdoor activities, and things like that, where you really don't want to be trying to skimp on, where the relationship with paying more is pretty well correlated to getting a better product. Now, the interesting thing about a lot of these categories is that it isn't effectiveness that's usually the issue. It's reliability and just long-term toughness, for lack of a better word. How these items are going to hold up over the long term, especially in a disaster scenario. So in these categories, you can find items that performance-wise will keep up with the more expensive ones pretty well, if not perfectly well, for the first portion of their life cycle, but then they start to fail. They start to break down, things like that. And that is an absolute disaster if you're in a major shit-the-fan scenario, to have an important piece of equipment fail on you. So that's why it's very important that these items you try to spend not as much as possible, but you want to get the best one that you can afford as opposed to just spending as little as possible on this category. There's also a relationship with, disposable items versus a heavy use item. So something like 1 can of green beans, if the failure rate is higher in a great value brand versus Del Monte, 1 can of green beans being somehow defective, or one of the generic cans of Spam, I've made a video on the top failing, isn't as big of an issue as if one major piece of equipment fails on you, because that you might not have a whole lot of backups for that. So let's get right into it. The first category where I think you should look to spend a little bit more money and get the best possible quality you can afford is water filters. This is a Katadyn filter right here. These are fantastic. J.J. Johnson of Reality Survival just did an excellent video recently about the hollow fiber water filters like LifeStraw and other similar ones. And like I just mentioned, their effectiveness is perfectly fine. They work really well. The problem is that they're very fragile, and when they fail, you don't actually have a way of even knowing that they failed, so your water could be compromised without you even knowing it. The interior components could be burst from either being frozen, from just being jostled too hard, from drying out, becoming brittle, and from maybe if it's even one defective production model, you wouldn't even know. There's no real way to inspect the components. You might not know until you get cholera or something like that. So it's great to have a $15 water filter if that's all you can afford, and it seems like that's just like the perfect item. But when you're talking about seriously taking care of water filtration, that's something that's so important. I heartily recommend that you spend a little more and get the best possible filter that you can afford. And usually that involves a ceramic or solid, filters. You can get some kind of distillation equipment. The link is in the description. And we're not talking about that much money. It's a huge increase over a $20 or $30 filter, $15 filter. You're going to be looking to spend in the $100 to $200 range for something like one of these, for a Berkey and all the filters for distillation equipment. So look to spend more than $100. You don't need to spend more than $200 or $250, but you're talking about a filter that can safely and reliably filter thousands and thousands of gallons and be pretty robust in an outdoor situation. You don't want to be running around through the woods and have a filter that if you accidentally sit on it wrong or drop your pack the wrong way, the internal components can be compromised, or simply getting below freezing. That's just a disaster. The second category may surprise some people because it really only applies to heavy use disaster situations or hard work, shit the fan scenarios. Because in day-to-day life, the opposite is sort of true. And that category that you want to spend more money on is actually clothing. Now, like I said, on a day-to-day situation, you're just talking about the threads you're wearing, you don't have to spend that much money. In fact, most of the time you're paying for a brand, a little logo, a label, and things like that. But there's certain categories of clothing, specifically things like boots, like heavy-duty boots, heavy-duty outdoor jackets, and leather jackets, leather boots, work jackets, work gloves, things like that, where if you buy cheap items in that category, they're going to literally disintegrate on you. And you can't carry, especially in like a bug out situation or something like that, you can't carry multiple pairs of boots realistically. So you really need to be able to count on your equipment, something like footwear, your main jacket. So if you're, something like a Carhartt jacket versus a Walmart jacket that looks identical, or a Duluth Trading Company, stuff like that, you're not going to pay ridiculous sums of money. It's expensive clothing, but you're talking about clothing that can last for years. And something like a pair of Red Wings, you can keep a pair of boots like that, or Danner, good military boots. You can keep those boots for 10 years if you take care of them. And they're actually repairable in many cases. Components of the boots can be replaced or repaired much more easily than a cheaper pair of boots made out of foam and plastic and whatnot. So, it's nice to say, hey, wow, maybe I can buy a $50 pair of boots, or, a $75 big work coat. Those things are probably going to really break down on you in the long term. And in a normal situation, you'll actually end up paying more because you have to replace it more often. And in a shit hit the fan scenario where you might not be able to replace it, it could be a disaster because these things are so important. And that's the theme that you'll kind of notice in this video, is these categories are items that are really important and heavy use. They take a lot of wear and tear, a lot of abuse. Things that I mentioned, the other one, the only one that would really be an exception to that in the first video would be the firearm, but they've gotten so good at making a certain category firearms still pretty cheaply. Whereas with clothing and the water filters, there just aren't comparable quality items in that low end that are going to serve you the same in long term. I'm talking about long term. That's the focus in this video. Something that you can rely on to perform the same function 5 years down the road, the same as it is the first day. And what you'll notice with the cheap versions, like I mentioned, first day, you're not really going to notice much difference. You're going to be like, why did I spend $150 on this when I could have spent $25? They're doing the same thing. But then a year of actually daily use later, you'll see exactly why. This next category also may get some people a little miffed, and that is knives and tools, but specifically your main kind of outdoor or survival knife. I've talked a lot about things like the EDC knife that I really love. The Ontario Rat Folder, that's a $27 knife. That's an insane value for the money. It's 25, 27 bucks. So it's perfectly fine to not spend a lot on a knife like that. But I'm talking about your main kind of survival knife, your big fixed blade knife that you're going to be using for batoning if necessary, using it for minor whittling, all sorts of stuff outside, using it for your fire starting, everything that you use, skinning an animal maybe. You're going to be putting this thing through a lot of use. It's also something that you can't realistically carry a ton of them if you have to go bug out or something like that. You're not going to have 4 or 5 large fixed blade knives on you unless, you can carry a sort of weight. And so I think it's important to bump up the amount that you're going to spend on that, and at least, do a lot of research to tell which ones are the best bang for your buck. Like I haven't, like this knife right here is the Becker BK9. I trust a knife like this. This is a solid knife, and it's only just under $100, I think. I'll put the links to this stuff in the description. I don't really like the handle on this knife. It's way too smooth, but it is a giant piece of steel. It's robust. I haven't heard of people having too many issues with these. But if you try to buy, a $40 knife, and use it as a heavy-duty survival knife, you might have some issues. So something like an SE Jungless are really popular for that sort of situation. There's some Cold Steel SRK and things like that. They're not cheap knives. They're not outrageously expensive like one of these like $500 Boosie knives or something like that. When you're talking about that jump up, the reliability is probably not going to be much better. But when you're talking about the difference between a $100 or a $40, $50 knife and a $100 to $200 knife, you're probably going to see quite a bit of difference in reliability. And so it's not something you want to skip on because it's something you're just going to be relying so heavily on. And you're going to be using it for so many things, from self-defense to maybe even food preparation, like butchering, things like that, making traps and different types of bushcraft and woodwork. You really need this thing for maximum performance. So an extra $100 spent here or even just an extra $50 spent in this category is so worth it long term. The next category is actually a little bit more broad, but that is basically any of your, I don't want to say camping equipment, but I don't really know what else to call it. Any of your camping or like bug out type equipment, like sleeping bags, tents, backpacks, that stuff, you need to get some quality gear for that, because just like with the clothing and the knives and the water filters, it's stuff that you're going to be using continuously in kind of rough situations if there's any sort of disaster. So getting a Walmart tent, yeah, you might have gone out for a weekend camping trip and said, hey, this thing performed just as well. But like I mentioned a couple times already, performance is not necessarily the issue. It's reliability long term. The quality to stand up to harsh conditions over the long term when it counts. So performance-wise, you might sleep just as well. In fact, you probably will sleep just as well or have just as easy of a time setting up, a $30 tent as you will a $150 or $200 tent. But long term, how are those things going to last, especially in inclement conditions? Things like your little pillows, camping pillows, your sleeping bags, your main bug out backpack, all that stuff like that. Use it. If you use this stuff a lot, you'll notice how the cheap stuff will fail on you. And unfortunately, the failures are usually sudden and catastrophic. They don't really, with the expensive equipment, you'll notice points of wear because they're tough enough that where there's a lot of wear and tear, you start to notice it first. So you see things start to fade or get worn thin or maybe become a little bit brittle or develop a small crack. And then you have a chance to deal with it or fix it or find a replacement before it's too late. The cheap stuff tends to fail suddenly and catastrophically. It'll look the same as it always has, maybe the tiniest amount of wear you'll notice, and then bam, it's out of commission completely, usually mid-use. And that's the type of problems that you get from trying to cheap out in these particular categories, because these are things that you just use consistently in a disaster scenario, and they're super important. If your tent goes out and you're in a bug out scenario, you're in a world of hurt. I mean, you're not going to die most likely, but if you're in, if it's a snow tent or something like that, you certainly could die without your shelter. If your main knife breaks, obviously a big problem. Your water filter goes, you're dead. And so, I mean, these are areas where you're literally talking about life or death in many cases if these items fail. So that's the kind of items that you really don't want to skimp on. And there's probably other categories as well, but let me know in the comments if there's other things that you think you really should try to spend or get the highest quality item that you can get, which is usually correlated with spending more money. Not directly, but it's a much more correlation than the items in the previous video. So items where if they fail in a disaster scenario, you would be really screwed. Those are the ones that you want to spend money on. And notice that these are also things that you're not going to tend to have a lot of multiples of. Things like ammo. If you get cheap ammo, like I mentioned in the first video, and your failure rate is twice as high, yeah, that could be bad if you're obviously in a firefight. But if slap, rack, bang, you get a new round. If you practice your failure drills and things like that, you'll get to the next round pretty quickly, and it shouldn't be a big deal. If your knife, your tent, your boots fail on you, there's no way to just move on to the next pair of boots and say, oh well, So that's why it's very important to make sure you have quality. It's possible to find cheaper brands probably that have that kind of quality, but it would take a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing out, in which case you're probably going to go through more money anyway. But just some things to think about. Let me know what you guys think. Put your list in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.